All right. So, some good news is that an NCAA committee has recommended that marijuana be taken off its banned drug list because it's not a performance enhancer. Which all I can say is it's about time. I hope that other sports governing bodies look at this, realize that there's no reason that they're having marijuana on their list except for this nebulous war on drugs that the world seems to think they must have. But anyway, to the article. Over the past decade, medical and recreational marijuana has become more widely accepted, both culturally and legally. But in sports, pot can still get a bad rap. Recreational weed has been the source of disappointment and disqualifications for athletes, like I cannot talk. Like Sha'Carri Richardson, a U.S. sprinter poised who became ineligible to compete in the Tokyo Olympics after testing positive for marijuana. But that may soon change for college athletes. An NCAA panel is calling for the association to remove cannabis from its banned drug list and testing protocols. The group, the NCAA Committee on Competitive Safeguards and Medical Aspects of Sports, said that testing should be limited to performance-enhancing drugs and found that cannabis does not enhance performance. And pot users everywhere, and most scientists probably could have told you the same damn thing. It was just because of the war on drugs thing. Drugs bad, so we cannot allow any drugs to be accepted because reasons. Each of the three NCAA divisional governance bodies would still have to introduce and adopt the rule change for cannabis to be removed from the association's banned drug list. The NCAA said in a statement released on Friday. The committee asked the NCAA to halt testing for cannabis at championships events while changes are considered. The NCAA is expected to make a final decision on the matter in the fall. The panel argued that the association should approach cannabis similarly to alcohol, to shift away from punitive measures and focus on educating student athletes about the health risks of marijuana use. The NCAA has been slowly reconsidering its approach to cannabis testing. Last year, the association raised the threshold of THC, the intoxicant substance in cannabis, needed to trigger a positive drug test. It's not just the NCAA that has been changing its stance on marijuana. The MLB, which is Major League Baseball, announced it was dropping marijuana from its list of drugs of abuse back in 2019. Meanwhile, in 2021, the NFL halted THC testing for players during the off-season. The NCAA oversees college sports in about 1,100 schools in the U.S. and Canada. I had a Marjorie Taylor Greene moment. Ooh. More than 500,000 student athletes compete in the NCAA's three divisions. The association began its drug testing program in 1986 to ensure competitions are fair and equitable. And that is all from that article. It's nice to see that the NCAA is doing this, and I was unaware that MLB and the NFL, which is the National Football League, have already been doing this. But it just said it announced that it was dropping marijuana from its list back in 2019, so I can only assume it's been dropped because it doesn't say when they were planning on dropping it. So I assume it's dropped. But yeah, and in 2021, the NFL halting testing of THC, which, again, I did not know about, but that is also great news because seriously, what is it about the effects of marijuana that led anybody to think it was a performance enhancer? I mean, and I mean, now that marijuana is becoming more socially acceptable and more states are legalizing it, people are actually able to test this, which they weren't able to do when the war on drugs was at full swing. They couldn't test this because, ironically, the war on drugs was preventing testing of these drugs, which, yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, good news for these college athletes who do use marijuana. Now it sounds like they're still um, trying to prevent student athletes from using, but it's more of a just say no type campaign rather than there being any actual consequences. It's just educating kids as to what could potentially happen if you use marijuana, and hopefully it's a legit concern and not like those just say no campaigns, which, oh, 80s, I love you so. That was a time. Yeah, the 80s and earlier, when it came to talking about drugs or anything else that was taboo, they just went full on crazy. It was, like I said, it was a time. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, and I will see you guys in the next video.